The market feels like a beast you just can't tame lately, doesn't it? Every day, charts jump around like they're on steroids. Volatility spikes like a roller coaster no one asked to ride. And just when you think you've pinned down the perfect strategy, reality flips the script again and again. It's exhausting. It's maddening. You know the models, you've pored over the data, but somehow the market refuses to cooperate. It's as if the very rules you've trusted are breaking down right under your feet. And that's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. This market regime is unlike anything before. It's raw, wild, unpredictable, almost mocking the old guards and their neat formulas. You feel it in your bones. The old ways won't cut it anymore. But imagine for a second, just let that idea settle in, that maybe this chaos, this seeming breakdown, is exactly the battlefield where the sharpest minds, the truest innovators, the quant hedge funds, armed with ruthless precision and fearless adaptability, can not only survive, but absolutely dominate. The secret is not in brute force, not in more data or more complex algorithms, but in understanding the very fabric of this market's new reality and mastering how to move inside it like a shadow. The pain you feel is real. It's the pain of seeing capital evaporate when you were sure your models were ironclad. The sting of sleepless nights spent recalibrating. The frustration of second-guessing every assumption you've ever made about risk and reward. Every eyebrow raised, every cautious step forward feels like walking on glass. You're not alone in this. The best funds in the world are locked in this same battle right now, scrambling to decode a market regime that seems to laugh at traditional risk premia and mocks linear thinking. But here's what most don't want you to know. This regime can be cracked. It is not an insurmountable fortress. It's a puzzle still waiting to be solved, and the winners will be those who aren't afraid to throw out the rulebook, to question everything, to rebuild strategy from the ground up. First, let's get brutally honest about why this regime feels so damn different. We're living in a world where artificial intelligence, machine learning, and alternative data streams flood the market with noise. The old correlations? Broken. The safe havens? Less safe. Asset classes influencing each other in ways that flicker and change faster than any traditional models can catch. Central banks spinning policies in unprecedented directions, geopolitical uncertainty hanging thick in the air, and liquidity conditions that stretch and snap without warning. The pulse of the market is no longer synchronized with the usual rhythm. Instead, it's a dynamic, living, breathing ecosystem morphing in real time. For quants, this presents a terrifying double-edged sword. The algorithms that once gave a competitive edge suddenly struggle to separate signal from ever-growing noise. Overfit models, backtests that look flawless on old data but crumble in live trading, and black box systems begging for better understanding gnaw at your confidence. The question burning hotter than ever: how do you design a system that's not fooled by shifting sands, that doesn't collapse the moment volatility passes into irregular patterns? How do you win at a game where the rules are in flux, where yesterday's alpha becomes today's garbage? Here's the brutal truth that changes everything. The answer lies in embracing this uncertainty, not fighting it. The warrior who tries to hold a fixed position in a storm will break. The one who learns to flow with the tempest, anticipating its gusts with agile models, that's the path to breakthrough. The quant hedge funds, who will crack this market regime, aren't just building smarter algorithms. They're rethinking the very philosophy behind those algorithms. Step 1. Understand that traditional factor models, value, momentum, size, quality, are not dead, but they are wounded. They no longer behave the same way, because market participants are using them in masses, crowding trades, and capitalizing on the same signals. fighting crowds head-on is a losing battle. The real power comes from niche signals, obscure data sets often overlooked by others, and alternative risk premia that behave differently under these market conditions. Think outside the usual financial universe: satellite imagery, supply chain logistics, behavioral macro data, and sentiment analysis, refined through natural language processing. The funds who dig deep into these next-level data sources and build lightweight, adaptive models that can triangulate across disjointed inputs are the ones uncovering hidden alpha. Step 2. Volatility is not the enemy. It's the pathway. When the market froths, many panic, pulling money out or freezing positions. But a dynamic, regime-aware system uses volatility as a compass. High volatility periods expose weaknesses in rigid models, but also create opportunities for gains far beyond the usual bounds. The key is mastering regime-switching models that can identify shifts in market states quickly, models that know when risk is likely to spike and when calm gathers like a fog. These models don't just react, they anticipate transitions. They hedge, pivot, and morph as needed, locking in protection on one hand and readiness to seize opportunities on the other. If your hedges are static, you're bleeding assets, while the nimble few are capitalizing like sharks smelling blood. Step 3 is human-machine partnership at an elite level. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are not magic bullets. They need direction, judgment, and insight that only humans can bring. The quants who win are building teams where intuition and experience refine algorithms, where anomalies spotted by human eyes trigger deep dives into data patterns, and where model risk management is never an afterthought, but a relentless process. These funds foster an ecosystem where failure is analyzed in microscopic detail, and models evolve daily, never staying static for long. Complacency is the enemy of success here. It's a lifestyle of constant iteration, relentless curiosity, and brutal honesty. But there's one more piece, often overlooked, but absolutely critical: community and connectivity. The rare edge comes not from hoarding knowledge, but from aligning with other exceptional minds who challenge assumptions, provide complementary insights, and forge solutions no single individual or firm could achieve alone. The future belongs to those who build autonomous networks, a circle of brilliance and trust, where ideas flow freely and barometers are recalibrated constantly with collective intelligence. These networks are the true refuge for those fighting market chaos, neighbors who turn uncertainty into an advantage through relentless learning and collaboration. It's no longer just about internal alpha, it's about collective transformation. So, what does all this mean for you, whether managing billions or your own hard-earned capital? It means it's time to shed what you thought you knew and to embrace a new mindset. One where rigid certainty is replaced by adaptable, almost instinctual fluidity. One where your technology is sharp, but your critical thinking sharper. One where volatility ceases to be a source of fear and becomes fuel for calculated aggression. One where connection with others who dare to think different creates a foundation stronger than any model or market trend. Don't settle for playing defense. Don't be the one crushed by this volatile wave. Instead, position yourself as an architect of the future market landscape. Build models that learn, unlearn, and relearn. Hunt signals hidden beyond the eyes of your peers. Use volatility like a scalpel, slicing precisely where others flail wildly. Partner intelligent machines with critical human judgment. Connect with those who understand that this chaos is not failure, but opportunity, the raw material for remaking the game on your terms. The market regime you face is brutal, unforgiving, a forge for only the toughest minds to emerge from. But what seems like a prison to many is a playground to the few who refuse to be boxed in by outdated rules, comfort zones, or noisy consensus. The quants who crack this market aren't just traders, they're revolutionaries, not merely analysts, but explorers mapping a new financial frontier. They do not follow the herd. They rewrite the rulebook while others scramble for scraps. Stay ruthless. Stay curious. Sharpen your weapon, your will, your insight, your network, your models. This is the moment to burn the past and build what comes next. The market is wild, but within its wildness lies the power for radical transformation. The choice is stark. Get swallowed by the storm or become the storm. For those ready to step beyond the illusions handed to them, the horizon is boundless. The few who crack this regime will not only survive, they will redefine what is possible and show the world that no market, no system, no assumption is untouchable. This is the fight that separates the amateurs from the architects. Don't blink, don't pause. Lean in harder because the prize is not just profit, it's freedom. Freedom from outdated markets. Freedom from mediocre returns. Freedom to become more than what was expected. It's time to stop waiting for the future and become the ones who build it, one breakthrough at a time. The question is not if this market regime can be cracked. The question is, will you be among those who crack it, or will you watch from the sidelines as the bold rewrite the landscape forever?